So let me ask you this. If a machine could tell you someone was about to commit a crime tomorrow, would you stop them today? Sounds like something ripped straight out of Minority Report, right? That 2002 Spielberg movie where Tom Cruise runs around stopping crimes before they happen? Well, here's the kicker. Real-world AI is actually trying to do something pretty similar. But the big question is, can AI really predict future crimes? Or is that just sci-fi fantasy dressed up in tech jargon? The allure of prediction. Humans love prediction. Always have. From fortune tellers staring into crystal balls to Wall Street analysts staring at graphs, there's something comforting about thinking we can peek into tomorrow. Because let's be honest, crime is messy. It's unpredictable, chaotic, and frankly scary. If we could somehow forecast it like the weather, well, who wouldn't want that kind of control? And pop culture has been feeding this obsession for decades. Shows like Person of Interest, movies like Minority Report, or even episodes of Black Mirror. They've all toyed with this idea that technology could one day anticipate human behavior before it spirals out of control. And here's the thing. In some ways, we're already experimenting with it. The tech behind it, enter predictive policing, sounds fancy, but the idea is pretty straightforward. You take huge amounts of crime data, everything from past arrests to location-based crime maps, and feed it into machine learning models. The goal? Spot patterns. If burglaries spiked in one neighborhood last year, the system might predict a higher chance of break-ins there again. Tools like PredPol, which literally stands for predictive policing, and companies like Palantir have already sold these systems to police departments across the US. And then there's COMPAS, a risk assessment algorithm used in the justice system to predict whether someone might re-offend. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like sci-fi, but without the flying cars. And yeah, on paper, it looks promising. Imagine being able to send more patrols to high-risk areas before crimes happen. That's efficiency. That's safety, at least in theory. The catch? Bias in the machine. But here's where things get messy. Because if the data you're feeding into the machine is already biased, guess what? The predictions will be too. And crime data, especially in places like the US, is deeply biased. Take the COMPAS system. Studies showed it was more likely to flag black defendants as high risk compared to white defendants, even when the white defendants actually re-offended at higher rates. In other words, the machine wasn't neutral. It was amplifying existing prejudices baked into the data. Think of it like using a cracked mirror to get dressed. The mirror doesn't just reflect reality, it distorts it. That's essentially what's happening when predictive AI runs on skewed data sets. Ethical dilemmas, and this raises huge ethical red flags. Imagine being arrested, not for what you've done, but for what an algorithm thinks you might do. That flips the entire justice system on its head. Presumption of innocence? Gone. It's also a massive privacy issue. To make accurate predictions, these systems crave data. Your movements, your social media, your phone calls. Basically a digital map of your life. And once you give that kind of power to an authority, you can't really take it back. This is where the sci-fi starts to feel less like entertainment and more like a warning. It's not just about crime, it's about control. Can AI ever get it right? But let's pause for a second and ask, is it even possible for AI to truly predict crime? Human behavior isn't math. Sure, we follow patterns, but we're also unpredictable. People snap, accidents happen, emotions boil over. You can't always see that coming in a data set. Think of it like predicting the stock market. Algorithms can forecast trends, but a sudden political event or even one viral TikTok can throw everything off. Crime works the same way. You can see where it's more likely to happen, maybe even when, but predicting the exact who and why? That's still way beyond AI's reach. Where this could go, that said, predictive systems aren't entirely useless. They can help police departments allocate resources more effectively. If the data says car thefts spike downtown on weekends, maybe you beef up patrols in that area. That's not about arresting people preemptively. It's about being smarter with manpower. But there's a darker flip side too. Once you normalize surveillance and pre-crime predictions, it's a slippery slope. Just look at China's social credit system, where data tracks everything from your spending habits to your friendships. It's not Minority Report exactly, but it's uncomfortably close to a world where tech dictates who's trustworthy and who's not. Even here in the West, we're seeing facial recognition cameras at concerts, sporting events, even airports. It's marketed as safety, but it creeps closer to a kind of soft surveillance state, a reality check. So where are we really at? The truth is, AI can't predict crimes in the way Minority Report imagined. There are no psychic precogs in tanks. What we do have are statistical models that can flag patterns and probabilities. That's important, but it's not prophecy. It's math. and math is only as good as the data behind it. Right now, that data reflects human flaws, our biases, our blind spots, our inequalities. So unless we fix those root problems, AI isn't predicting the future. It's just recycling the past. So can AI predict future crimes like Minority Report? Not exactly. At best, it can highlight where crimes are likely to occur. At worst, it reinforces the same injustices we already have. The real question isn't whether we can build such a system, it's whether we should. Because sometimes, the scariest part of sci-fi isn't how unrealistic it is. It's how close we're willing to get to making it real. So what do you think? Would you feel safer in a world where AI predicts crime? Or does that just sound like handing Big Brother a megaphone?